Greetings. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Mushtaq Memon, Professor Emeritus from Washington State University. We are going to talk about a very important subject which has been talked about quite a bit in the press and television, which is avian influenza or bird flu. So the title of this presentation is Emerging Threats, Concerns about Human to Human Flu Transmission. Now, why we are worried about, human to human, we are talking about bird flu, we do know that about 70% of the human infectious diseases have animal host. Means the animals have a disease which is there, and then it transmits to people, which you call zoonosis. So it's not unusual to have a disease going from birds to animals to human. So H5N1 or avian influenza, or what we call bird flu, is a virus which is capable of mutating and go from one species to the other. So the global concern is that this mutation could trigger the pandemic just like we had recently COVID-19. Now, what is the update on it? In the United States, estimate is that more than 100 million birds and about 500 dairy cattle herds have been infected with bird flu. And then infection has been also diagnosed in other mammals too, like elephant seals, goats, foxes, even house cats. But there's no human to human transmission yet, but obviously the risk is there. Now, how about the human cases so far? Well, 46 confirmed cases in the United States have been confirmed during this current outbreak of bird flu. All but one had known exposure to affected poultry or cattle, but the illnesses were fairly mild. According to CDC, there's no proof that the virus is spreading from person to person. Now, again, going back on human, in Canada, there is a teenager which is infected by the bird flu and from unknown sources, and the teenager is in critical condition. Now, I'm speaking to you on December 2nd of 2024. So this is a relatively recent case, maybe about a week or so ago. Then there's a pig in Oregon, which has been diagnosed again with the bird flu. Now, why we are worried about pig? Pig is a very interesting animal. It's almost like a vessel for flu viruses. So their potential to combine in a new form of flu, and then it can spread to humans. And we do know the swine flu, which happened in 2009. Now, there could be a co-infection. Now, what does that mean? Well, like here in the United States at this time, we have a flu season. So, most of us get vaccinated for it. Some people don't. But those, just regular flu season, the flu virus can be mixed with the H5N1 and can swap RNA and create deadly human transmissible virus. Now, the experts recommend that we ought to have a required testing for cows, milk, and the farm workers. And we should isolate infected cattle, herds, and we could increase our cow vaccine development, and protective measures should be implemented to prevent the disaster. Now, the good news is, again, there is no evidence that virus has changed to infect and to spread infection in humans so far. In October 2024, about a month and a half ago, the United States administration's Response and Preparedness Office has given $72 million to drug companies to start preparing the flu shots against bird flu in case we need now or for the future purposes. So our health officials recommend that even though the regular flu shot does not prevent the bird flu, it's a good idea to get it because especially for those people who are working with animals on the farms and cattle farm and poultry farms, I think should get that a flu shot. And do not drink raw milk because the virus can persist without pasteurization. So I think it's essential that we should consume milk which is pasteurized just to try to prevent this bird flu virus. And touching dead animals and birds would be a good idea. So what is the conclusion of all this thing? Well, we know that remain a global concern of the bird flu for both public health as well as for poultry and animal industries. Recent cases have been reported in California and Canada, as I just mentioned. And the key risks are really involved are the threat to poultry and animal agriculture businesses or economies and potential for zoonosis, transmission from animal to human, and risk of mutation and transmissibility. So what is the mitigation measures? Well, we need to enhance surveillance, both in wild and domestic bird populations. Public awareness is very important to let people know what are the dangers here and how can prevent the problem. And research on vaccine development for human and for animals. So what is the call for action? Well, strengthen the international cooperation for monitoring and response, encourage funding for preventive measures and rapid containment strategies, and looking ahead, continued vigilance is crucial to minimize the risk of outbreaks, and the collaboration between countries, between health agencies is very, very important. So I have included additional sources of information, and these are the websites and the sources where I got this information. So I would highly recommend that if you need to know more information, please go ahead and look into that. But with that, I'm going to stop at that and invite your questions and comments. Please, if you have some, go ahead and send it to me on YouTube channel, and I'll be happy to respond. Until then, I wish you well. Bye-bye.